A lot of you watching this have missed the rally. You've had a little bit of crypto exposure, but you haven't had enough to be happy. And you're now asking me, Daniel, I missed the bottom. Like, I don't have enough crypto and I feel like I'm going to miss the bull run. How do I know where to buy? How do I get into the market? And so I'm going to film this video to answer this question. I'm going to tell you how you can get into the market if you've missed the bottom, because as you can see, coins like Solana have gone ballistic. And it was only 2 months ago where right down here, I doubled my Solana position and I told everyone inside of my groups to double their Solana position. We've done very well. It's almost a 3x right now. And you can see that Bitcoin is pumping. Bitcoin has been going off. Majority of the market has just seen crazy gains. Coins like Casper have been going ballistic. I mentioned Casper in my Hex video. That one's been going insane. So let's answer the question, how are you going to get allocated to the market if you are not currently happy with how much crypto that you hold? There's a few points I want to go over to answer this question. And the answer to this question is not going to be what you expected, because I want to make you a good investor. I don't want to just try to make you some short-term gains. I want to make you long-term profits. So if you miss the bottom, you have to ask yourself, not how do I fix this current situation? You have to ask yourself, how do I fix the problem that caused me missing the bottom in the first place? So most of you guys, you're asking me, Daniel, what price do I buy? You're asking me, like, Daniel, do I buy like here or do I buy here? Like, when do I get into the market? Wrong question. This question is only asked by investors who are never going to make money. The question you need to be asking is, Daniel, I missed the bottom. This is my system. Where did I go wrong? Because you only make money in crypto if you have an edge over other people in the market. If you make money, you took someone else's money, right? So to take someone else's money, you have to be better than them. So you have to have an edge. If you hop into a boxing ring with someone and you have to fight for your life, only one person comes out alive. Does the person who comes out alive, are they the better boxer usually? Or are they the worst boxer? It's usually the better boxer. Now, sometimes the shit boxer will get a lucky hit in 1 out of 100 times, but 99 out of 100 times, the person who is better wins. So if you don't have a process, you don't have an edge, you don't have a strategy, and you're just basically guessing and gambling, oh, I missed the bottom. Daniel, when do I buy? Just tell me when to buy. How the fuck are you going to take anyone's money? Like, imagine I was going in to rob a dude's house and you're trying to rob the house with me and you're fumbling around in your pocket trying to like turn the flash off, trying to turn the ringtone off on your phone. Oh, sorry. And then the neighbors wake up and they run out with the shotgun and they're like, what are you guys doing here? And I'm like, oh my God, how did you mess this up so hard? That's how I feel right now with people asking me like, what price do I buy? It's like, the only reason you ask that question is because you don't have a system that you can build on, that you can improve upon. You don't actually know how to make money in crypto. So the question you need to be asking is, how do I fix my system that went wrong? Versus what price do I buy? Because if you fix the underlying root cause, what you are doing is you are setting yourself up for success in the hundreds of next opportunities that are inevitably going to come. This is not the last time that you can buy. There's always bull runs. You're going to be alive for 80 years if you're 20. You're going to be alive maybe 60 years, right? You've got like 10 bull runs ahead of you, 20 bull runs ahead of you. This isn't the last one. So wouldn't it make more sense that you fix the problem today so that for every bull run for the next 60 years, you're set, instead of just trying to buy and avoiding the root cause, right? Imagine there's weeds in the ground, right? You know, the weeds that grow on the ground. If you're trying to get rid of the weeds, do you just pull the weed off from the surface or do you pull it out from the roots? Well, if you're afraid of dirt, you pull it out from the top and then the fucking weeds grow back again. That's what you guys are doing when you're asking me, hey, Daniel, what price do I buy? How do I get back in? You're basically just pulling the top of the weeds out. The weeds are just going to grow back, my friend. This is not the end of your troubles. You're going to miss every single next bottom, and you're also going to fuck up the top now. So you're going to mess your whole thing up because you're not doing it properly. You need to pull the weeds out from the foundation, from the roots, if you don't want them to grow back. You need to fix the underlying root cause, the problem, the real reason why you didn't buy the bottom, if you want to buy the bottom, if you want to get into the market. So why did you miss the bottom? Well, one of the reasons is your system didn't account for all the scenarios. When you are investing, you need to plan forward for every single potential future opportunity, or at least the ones that you can think of, right? You need to think to yourself, what could go wrong and what could go right? And when could it go right and when could it go wrong? Because let's say you buy a coin and it goes down 50% from when you entered. You should be able to have known that that was going to happen beforehand. Oh, well, I had actually thought before I entered that, there was a chance that it could have got hacked. Or, I knew that there was a lot of VCs in this project, so that if it dumped, it was probably because of the VCs. You should have thought about all the potential downsides and the upsides before you even entered the position. So before I even entered Solana 2 months ago when I doubled my position, I accounted for the scenario that, Solana, I don't know if it's going up next month or the month after, whatever it is, but I'm underexposed and there's too many good possible scenarios in its future that I need to be ready for right now. That's why I bought it 2 months ago and now it's up a lot, right? So you need to account for all the scenarios. Why did you not account for this scenario occurring? Do you even have a system or are you just gambling? Most people watching this, you're just gambling. You go on Twitter. This is what you guys do. I'm going to show what you guys do live. Ready? You go on Twitter. You go to your feed and you go, what coin am I going to buy? You scroll down. You look for a coin. Oh, he bought. What did he buy? He bought CLSK. So you see a guy buys a coin. So then you go, all right, what's this coin? CLSK. And then you go and you try to find it, right? You try to find this coin. You can't find it. You keep searching. And then, this guy said he bought this coin today. And he bought Solana and he bought coins. So then you go, okay, this guy's smart. He bought these coins, so I'm going to copy him, right? And then you go copy the guy, but you copy him without his source, without his brain. And so it's like, imagine you went out onto the street to try to get a girl and a guy's telling you what to say through an earpiece. Oh, say this line. Do you think you're going to get a girl if you're just copying the lines that someone else is saying? No, you're not, because you don't have his source. You're not going to do the correct eye contact. You're going to do everything wrong. So if you just copy trade some dude on Twitter, you're basically doing the same thing. You don't have the ability to cut this position. He's not going to tell you exactly when he sells. He's only going to tell you that he bought. They never tell you when they sell. This is the thing. They'll say taking profits here or something, but they're not very specific. So if you copy them for when to buy, you should have hoped that you could copy them exactly for when to sell. And if you can't, then you're not going to be able to copy them correctly. You need to have your own system. You need to have a system, because this is just gambling. If you just go on Twitter, see a dude buy a coin, copy him, it's just gambling. Okay. Now you have to ask yourself as well, has anything really changed from the last bull run, or are you just repeating the same mistakes, right? The question of when do I buy is the same question you probably were asking yourself in the last bull run. You probably are just making the same emotional decisions, asking the same emotional questions from the last bull run. So you have to ask yourself, has anything changed? Have you learned anything? Because why do market cycles happen every 4 years? Because it took you 4 years to forget the lesson that you learned, right? Where are we in comparison? Let's do a little comparison. Let me show you what I mean. We are probably around here, or maybe even up towards here. How many years ago is this? This was 2021, 3 years ago almost. So it takes 3 to 4 years for you to forget the lessons that you learned here. So what are the lessons of the bull run? Well, the lesson of the bull run is you buy dips. You buy dips. You guys forgot that you got to buy the dip. You're looking to FOMO in on the rally, right? It's not a good idea. That's not how you do investing. So this is the problem. You learn a lesson here. Okay, buy dips, buy dips, buy dips. But you learn it and then you forget it, right? The market punishes you for buying dips here. The lesson that you learn once it's finally engraved is no longer useful, because when you most learnt to buy dips, you learnt it when it was no longer time to buy dips. And then down at the bottom here, you learnt the lesson of sell quick. You want to take profits, right? Price goes up, it goes down to new lows. Price goes up, goes down to new lows. The lesson you learned is sell the rips, sell the pumps. Well, what happens if you sell the pump here? You miss all this upside. The lesson you learn when it is most clear will be learnt at the wrong time. So that's something else to keep in mind, guys. Right now, you have forgotten that in bull runs, you buy dips, right? That's the lesson that you need to remember. Can't just be repeating the same mistakes. Now, as well as this, you need to consider that, if you're trying to buy, you have to consider that there's two types of pains in markets, all right? When you buy, there's always a pain that you're going to feel, okay? You're either going to feel the pain of buying when it hurts. So here, there's two pains, right? Buying when it hurts, which is here, or buying when it feels good, which is here. Why do you have pain here? Well, if you only buy when it feels good, you're going to lose money because the price is going to drop. So you have to ask yourself, what pain do you prefer? Do you prefer pain 1? Let's label this 1. Or do you prefer pain 2, which is this one? Do you prefer the pain of buying when it hurts or the pain of losing money? That is the only two pains that you can possibly, that's the only two things that could possibly happen, right? It's going to hurt either way. And a lot of you people are buying this week and you've told yourself, I don't like buying when I'm scared. I don't like feeling scared. So I'm going to buy when I'm not afraid. And then I'm going to deal with the consequence later, right? This is what most people in society do. This is why most people in society are fucking idiots. They always try to take away tomorrow's happiness, right? Drinking, and then they feel like shit tomorrow. Doing drugs, and it fucks with their brain this week. Taking out loans, and they have to pay it off later. They're always taking tomorrow's happiness. What are you doing when you buy here? You're deciding that I would like to feel good today so that I feel bad later. You're taking a loan on your future by telling yourself that you would rather lose money so that you can feel good today. Bad decision. That is not how you invest in markets, okay? And here's a good tweet to summarize it. A good process allows you to do hard things in hard times. A lack of process leads to making decisions that feel good in good times, which is what? Buying late. Should have been buying here. We all want to feel good, and that's why retail gets such poor results over time. So everyone wants to buy the dip after prices rallied, right? Everyone is really wanting to buy now, but no one was wanting to buy a year ago when I was accumulating over here. No one wanted to talk about Solana when it was at $20 2 months ago, but everyone talks about Solana now. So why do you, as an investor, gain conviction with higher prices? Why do you want to buy crypto more now that it's rising? It doesn't really make sense when you think about it, right? And this tweet summarizes it really well, because many people confuse what the point of investing is. Investing is about making the best risk-adjusted returns possible. The higher the price goes on something, it doesn't become a better return on investment. It becomes a worse one. The higher it goes, the more it's about gambling as odds move away from you. So for example, when you look at Bitcoin right now and we look at the potential downside, this is the low, this is where we are now. Buying here has asymmetric upside because we're already at a point of peak fear, and you have to ask yourself, like, how much worse can things get, right? The upside is asymmetric because there's not much further the price can go down. But how much better could things get? Well, things could get a lot better because when price goes up, it's rising because the market is shifting from fear to greed. The rise happens when we shift from the emotional state, which always occurs, from fear to greed, right? So at the bottom, you have the asymmetric upside of maximum pain and an inevitable return to greed. And if you're buying over here, right, up here at 36K, the problem with buying in this region, even if it does dip, is the upside is no longer asymmetric, because the upside was when we had an entire emotion cycle to still account for. We had to go from maximum fear to greed. But now we're in the greed territory. We can only get down to small amounts of fear. And even then, it's not an asymmetric upside, because there's still the possibility that we go down to further levels of fear, to the fear that we felt at this level, right? So markets are not about buying bottoms or selling tops. Markets are about identifying where the downside is limited and the upside is massive, and only investing when the return profile is asymmetric in nature, okay, which it is not right now. This is not an asymmetric entry, right? As well as this, I want you guys to ask yourself, like, you missed the bottom. Now you're trying to enter after the consensus is the bull run has started. What is the 20-year expected returns of buying when the consensus is that price will keep going up, and buying when you feel FOMO? Let me put this another way. Imagine you missed every bottom and then you tried to play catch up for the next 20 years. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you missed the bottom a little bit and you're looking to enter. Imagine this scenario happened for 20 years straight. How much money do you think you make playing catch up for 20 years? I don't think you make anything. I think you pretty much would have a loss over a 20-year time frame. If you implemented the strategy of missing the bottom, playing catch up, you would lose money, right? And this question is how you build a strategy. This is how you approach crypto. When you come to crypto, you have to be able to look at what you were doing and Put it out on a 20-year time horizon and say to yourself, yep, if I did what I'm doing today for 20 years, I would be rich. If you can't comfortably look at what you're doing and put that time frame out on a 20-year time horizon and say, yep, I would make money, then you shouldn't be doing the process that you're doing. You should be fixing it. You should be refining it. You should be making it better. I know for a fact that with the way that I approach crypto, with my main investing system, the Hunter Algos, that on a 20-year time horizon, using this system, I will be able to make lots of money because the system has been showing me that it's proven to work, right? How was I able to get majority of my net worth into crypto before we've had the boom? Well, you use an algo to tell you when to buy. There's no guessing. There's no guesswork. So when people come to me and they say, Daniel, when do I buy? Like I missed the bottom. I ask them, why were you not following this system? Why were you not buying here at this bottom? Why are we not buying here? Even though it's not a great entry, but why are you not buying there? Why did you not buy here or here or here? Right? Why did you not have a system? And these are the questions that you guys have to ask yourselves. Because are you buying dips and selling on rips, or are you buying rips and selling on dips? The first is buying fear and selling greed. And the other is buying greed and selling in fear. Over time, who would you bet on? You know the answer, but you still will chase higher with no defined process. So obviously, you want to be buying dips. But the fact that you want to buy after we've gone to a period of greed and not buying over here when there was fear is a bad sign. And you should try to fix that as the ultimate solution to your problems. So here's the summary of what I've been talking about. It's been a little bit all over the place, but there's been a lot of points I want to make because I think they're all useful. So to summarize it, basically, number one, you should try to fix your system, not your one-time entry. If you fix your system, you will allow yourself to make money on the hundreds of future times where you need to buy or sell. Because if you just focus on fixing, buying now, then you're only going to potentially make money once. But if you fix this, then you make money forever. Lesson number two, you need to buy during fear and you need to buy when it hurts because you're always going to feel pain in investing. It either hurts upfront or it hurts later. Upfront pain is what you need to prioritize because upfront pain means everyone else is feeling that pain. And it means that inevitably, as we ride the rise to greed, that you're going to make money. Markets look like this. Let me show you. Prices don't do this, but sentiment cycles do, right? It's just an ebb and flow, fear to greed, fear to greed. Right now, we're probably here. And on a shorter time horizon, we're probably here. When you have upfront pain, you're buying here. This is what upfront pain looks like. You're buying when it sucks. But upfront pain inevitably has a rise into greed, right? Inevitably has a rise into greed. And the later that you buy into the greed cycle, the easier it feels to buy, the closer you are to the cliff that is always going to come, right? It's just how markets work. And number three, control your emotions or get wrecked. Now, if you don't have a system and you're watching this video and you would like a system, I designed my own system because I couldn't find one as useful as the one that I use. It's called the Hunter Algorithms. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you would like to get access to it. This system solves all your problems and it also works for selling. Now, let me see if I can get this up here. I've just made a new TradingView account, which is why I look like a brokey with, only able to put one indicator on the chart, but bear with me. We just had a sell signal. So if you want to get a system that can show you where to buy, show you where to sell, and it takes out all the guesswork of investing, no more gambling, you got a proper system, you'll find a link in the description. Thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.